Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated! Oh, welcome to another episode / recap of my 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After series. Oh my god, you guys, I'm so excited that 90 Day Fiance is back. You guys have no idea. I feel like I have just been bereft without anything to watch on television for so long, and I've missed you guys. And those of you guys who did not stick around for Love After Lockup, but you're back now for 90 Day Fiance, this is for you. Thank you guys so much. Oh my god, there is so much going on. First of all, TLC tried to play us. Half of that entire episode was all recap. We're good. You know what I'm saying? We know what's going on with every couple and we're ready to get back into it. So first we start off with George and Anfisa. Okay, so finally George comes out and admits to all of us the exact reason why he fell in love with Anfisa. Because you know how George is trying to make it seem like it's all on Anfisa, like he didn't bring her over here under false pretenses. And then when she got here and was crazy, that's when he's like, maybe it isn't American girls that are crazy. Maybe it's me who invites a certain type of user into my life that ends up being crazy because they'll know I'll take it. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. He says that he fell in love with her body online. He messaged her a couple of times. She did not pay attention. And then finally when he did, he wooed her and got her to come to the US. This filming of this is all over the place because in some confessional shots, Jorge has got his shit together. I mean, what's his name? George. I keep calling him Jorge because his name is spelled Jorge. Some of the scenes are all over the place because it looks like George has his hair cut and his face trimmed in certain shots, and other shots he's looking like Scraggly McGraggly, and I'm not here for it, okay? So it turns out now that he's living with his parents, in and out of hotels as well. Anfisa has moved out of the apartment they had. She's gotten her own space. She's doing her own thing. She got her green card, so now she's able to work on Instagram, like supporting Flat Tummy Tea or whatever she does on her Instagram or whatever social media she has, and that's how she keeps herself afloat in LA. I mean, good for her. I mean, that is the dream, is it not? For us to be able to just live our lives. Apparently, George is not giving her any money, which, I mean, he probably doesn't have any actual money to give her. We see in one scene that he's meeting with the lawyers that all of his assets have depreciated. Everything that he had is now gone. And so the lawyers are like, look, if she just got her green card, then it would seem that if you guys got a divorce so quick, it might mess up her green card because there's a statute of limit. If a person gets their green card, they have to still stay married a couple of, I don't know how long. The laws are probably there somewhere saying how long. But they were warning him that the fact that it might mess everything up. But I guess if they kind of handle it in a certain way where they go through all of the assets they had together, including her handbags and rings, which Lourdes, who accompanies George to the divorce lawyer to be there to make sure that he actually starts the process or goes through it or gets the information or something. Because Lourdes is like, look, you know, you're not going to disappear for another 9 months on our watch. We're holding on. Oh, do you also love how they low-key, whenever she comes on, the music changes and it makes us be yeah, she's so tough. Intro with Anfisa is her working out with her hair down, barely breaking a absolute sweat, not a sweat being broken. And then the second time we see her in the gym doing her boxing, she finally put her hair up a little bit. But you know, I was just like, girl, Anfisa, you're there Anfisa's not working out. So Anfisa was saying that the reason why things went bad with George is because she thought that he was this nice, sweet guy that was there to give her everything she wanted in life, and that when she came to the US, he had lied to her. He had lied to her about a number of things that are going on in his life, specifically and especially the one where he was a millionaire and was able to afford a certain lifestyle for her. And when she got to the States and didn't get it, and he wasn't being forthright with it, she just behaved poorly, acted out, waiting for him to stop being cheap so that he could give her all the things that he promised. And it turns out that he lied to her, and she was like, look, he lied to me. So something should be said for that. I don't care how I've treated him, even though the domestic violence between him and Anfisa is real. If it were him hitting her, there would be a whole other situation. And I find it's crazy that TLC hasn't done something about it because it's their show. I don't agree with that at all. So Anfisa talks about the fact that how his family disrespected her, calling her a whore and all those things, and Jorge never stood up for her, George never stood up for her. And then the next time was at the tell-all when she was sitting there and he was trying to basically say that she was a prostitute and all that she's done for this money and what has she been doing and all this stuff, and he wouldn't just come out and say it and she had to just get up and leave. She felt very hurt by that. She felt like she did not talk about him at the tell-all, and he talked mess about her. Like, she's like, basically, you're the one who lied to me, and now you're mad at me because I'm not okay with your mediocrity. Like, that's not fair. You're the one who brought me here under false pretenses. She was saying that she saw herself maybe having some kids with him and living happily ever after. And I'm like, well, I don't think he thought that at all. I think he thought they would for sure have kids. He would lock it down and they would live absolutely happily with ever after. But you know, Anfisa was like, kids? What? But was that in the contract? I didn't read that. Later on in the episode though, now this to me, like, it's annoying. Because if it's true, it's annoying. And if it's a lie, it's annoying. He basically told his homeboy, Ramon, I think that's his name. Remember the spindly homeboy who helped him look for like a bracelet or a cuff or something for Anfisa that one time? That guy. So basically he's like, yo, we've been all watching the show, son. Anfisa out here making you look crazy, G. Basically Ramon was like gossiping Gary, trying to get all of the tea about what's going on. He watches the show, he watched the tell-all, and he was like, what's up? Jorge was like, George is like, I lied about Anfisa because I felt bad that she had treated me so poorly and made me look so stupid on television. So I lied at the tell-all because I wanted to get back at her and make her feel terrible. I'm like, that is such a B move. Like, George, like, no. That was such a, like, low blow. You know what I'm saying? That was just such a, like, silly, tacky, like, frivolous move to just lie on national television about your wife being basically a prostitute or a webcam model. And I'm like, first of all, that is how you met her. That is how you met her. So don't try to put her business all out in the street all of a sudden because your measly pennies aren't doing it for her. So she had to go out and get her monies her own ways. Second of all, that can cause a whole lot of issues for her because I believe at the time of the tell-all, she did not have her green card. So she legally could not be working in the US like that. So that's another thing. And a third thing is like, even if it's a lie or a truth, like this whole backpedaling situation, like, is ridiculous. You shouldn't have outed her in any circumstance, whether it's the truth or the lie. You should not have outed her. That was wrong. That was wrong. That's the way I feel about it. You should come up with another way to get revenge on someone who treated you so poorly and who you allowed to treat so poorly, as opposed to trying to slut shame her. Like, that's how you met her. That's like David being weird about Annie. Like, that's how you met her, boo. That's how you met her. Okay? And there's nothing wrong with her doing that kind of work. She was trying to make her money, live her life. And you stepped in and offered her something else better and then could not fulfill that promise. All right, you guys, I'm gonna have to come back because I gotta go to work. All right, I'll be back. Okay, so it's the next day, full on the next day, no makeup on, dusty glasses. Let's finish this up and let's move on to the next couple. I just really wish that Jorge would make a choice, George would make a choice on if he wanted to be hot or not. Like, he has the potential, and Chris, my friend, will 100% fight me on this, but like, why does he insist on looking like a boy band reject sometimes? And then other times he's like, got a haircut, got it together, but he's still scriggly scraggly right here. Like, make a choice. Either you're gonna let it fully grow and go get it trimmed and barbered and done up and maybe get some holes patched, or you're gonna just keep it shaved and keep it clean. But Jorge, George, I need you to make a decision. I'm over it. Okay, so the next couple that we're gonna go into right now is Chantal and Pedro. I did not watch their first season, so I didn't know about all of the drama that they had with regards to Chantal lying about why Pedro was in the US. So if you didn't watch their season, so what happened to them is they somehow met, I'm not sure exactly how, and then they decided to just live together here in the US. And she initially told her family that he was here on a student visa, and I guess that they were dating or they were friends. And then when Pedro got here and the 90 days were almost up and it was time to get married, Chantal finally admitted to her parents that actually he was there on a K-1 visa and they needed to get married like next Thursday. And her family was very upset. Chris and I have a very solid theory about why her family is so upset with Pedro. Personally, I feel like it's black on black crime. I think that it's very American and annoying of Chantal's family to look down on Pedro's family. And I think it's a lot of like hubris and ego and better than thou syndrome for them to think that his family is simply using him to use her or using him to send money back to the Dominican Republic. Any of us who have family that's from another country, who sees the Americas or America as a place of milk and honey in which to make money and to send back to your family, would understand that Pedro is just simply doing what is expected of him. But for whatever reason, Chantal's family just doesn't understand that. They are very concerned with the amount of money that Pedro is sending back to his mother. And I could get that. But at the same time, they're in America and Chantal has her own career to worry about. And like, yes, right now it may suck that he's sending money back because Chantal wants to save and she wants to do certain things. But unfortunately, she married an immigrant. She married the only son of a Dominican family, and he is going to send money back to them regardless. In fact, he even thinks of the money that he makes as his money, and that Chantal should be fine because she has her family, she's in her own country, and so her potential to make money is greater, and therefore she'll be fine, and he will work and send money back to his mother to take care of his family, as the oldest son or the only son is to do, or the only child in the US is supposed to do. So unfortunately, if Chantal can't get over the fact that he sends money back to his family, she's gonna have to figure something out with a divorce, because he's going to always send money back. Rain or shine. Even though I swore he said that he had a really good job in the Dominican Republic and he gave it up to come here to live with her. But you know. So anyways, they have this TV. It's the same TV that the mother has been asking for months since the wedding in DR. And he has to give it to her. So he bought this TV. It's a huge TV. It can barely fit in their car. They get into the car. They go to FedEx. And if this FedEx ain't like, I don't know if it's UPS or FedEx, but listen, I would have been all the way over this situation. They package the item. They get ready to send it. And it turns out that it's going to cost $1,000 to send this. No. Chantal is like, look, just send them some money, have them buy a TV there. So then they tried to turn it around and be like, nah, it's okay. And then the woman behind the FedEx was just like, well, we already packaged it. I would have been so pissed. I would have been like, just charge me for the packaging and let me get out of here. Like, I'm not gonna spend $1,000. You're not gonna guilt me into spending $1,000. So how much does this box cost? You can tell that Chantal and Pedro are a little defensive with each other, especially Pedro. He's still really protective of his family. They were having their confessionals, the couple, both of them talking to the producers. And Chantal said that she wanted to have a wedding in the DR because his family missed out on the wedding here. And he was like, what'd you say about my family? What'd you say about my family? And she's like, I said your family missed out. And he's like, oh, I feel like that's an idiom. Like maybe it doesn't translate very well, so it's like a turn of phrase that he has to just learn. Honestly, like, her family was disrespectful. When they got out to the campo, when they got out to the country, and her family decided not to get out of the car, that was so rude. Like, even if you were uncomfortable, not even getting out of the car to say hello and faking an illness or something, like nothing. They just sat in the car and made them turn around. And Chantal has to know her family is wrong. And it frustrates me that she doesn't check them. But maybe she does, and maybe it's just editing and it's, you know, that's just the way it's happening. From what I saw of the video, the sister did not call her a puta. The sister called her something else that sounded like puta, and Chantal was so hyped up that she heard that, and then the sister was just like, yes, that's what I called you. Like in English, because Chantal was yelling at her, and she's just like, yeah, that's what I called you, whatever. So I feel like that was lost in translation, and the sister never actually called her a bitch. But they were being stank to her, and they were being stank to her because of the way the family treated them and the whole entire situation going down. I mean, at the end of the day, Chantal's family thinks that they are better than Pedro's family. And like, that's ridiculous to me. It's so American, and it's so like gross. And I'm really disappointed in Chantal's family for feeling that way. Like get to know Pedro. Because it's clear to me, and I think everyone that watches the show, that Pedro really loves Chantal. And that they're probably gonna be a great couple together if they don't have all the influences, you know, whispering in their ear. And if Chantal just gets over the fact that, you know what, she's gonna have to make the amount of money that she wants to make because Pedro will spend half of his money on his family. And that's just the way it is. It sucks. I feel her. It sucks, but that's honestly just the way it is. Second part of their series, Pedro has to explain to his mother why he couldn't send the TV and that he's just gonna send money. They get on FaceTime, they have the conversation. The mother even is gracious and reaches out and asks if Chantel is there. Chantel gets off her stool because they're in the same space. They're in like a little studio apartment or a very small living room. And Chantel comes over and says, hello, goodbye, you know, and it's very like that she doesn't want to have the conversation, but then proceeds not to leave the room. So then the sister starts to talk to Pedro about the situation. She gets on Skype, she gets on FaceTime, and she's just like, you know what? Do you not spend time with their family? Like, what's going on with that? Pedro says that he hasn't spent much time with, you know, with her family in months, so it is what it is. And then the sister remarks about how just like unfortunate the whole situation was and how disrespectful the family was when they went out to the country to meet their grandmother, and that like she understands why Pedro wouldn't want to be around them. And Chantel gets offended again, and I'm just like, Chantel, is it true or not true that your family disrespected their family? I don't care about the chicken feet. I don't care. I don't care about it. Like, just say no and don't eat it. Chantel gets offended because she feels like Pedro should defend her. And I'm like, why should Pedro defend you, girl? Your family done messed up. And you don't see how they messed up. And if you want to say there's disrespect on both sides, you can go ahead and say there's disrespect on both sides, but there's also adults on both sides. And it looks like Pedro's family is at least cordial enough to ask to have a conversation with Chantal. Whereas if the shoe were on the other foot, I don't think that Chantal's family would be like, oh, how's Pedro? Put him on the phone too, so we can say hello, right? Right. Okay. The next couple we're going to talk about is Nicole and Azan. So where we left off last time is the tell-all, where Azan completely ignored Nicole's calls. Like, she's there on stage with Sean, with Rob Ali, embarrassed, crying, boohoo, because she says that it meant so much to her and he knew that and he didn't show up. Later on, he gives her some bogus excuse that he had really bad cell service and he couldn't Skype in or call in, and so therefore he missed the whole situation. And of course, Nicole believes him. Like, why wouldn't she believe him? Like, she's got the lowest self-esteem of anybody I've ever seen on television besides Danielle, and she really wants to believe that this hot guy from Morocco is in love with her and is gonna take her for all that she is, when we all know he's not, because he says right now that he only wants to sleep with her like 54%. Is that what he said? I don't know, I'm making that number up, but something crazy, like he finds her body like attractive 54% girl. Like,